Hey all, it's Jonathan here from Style Factory, the go-to site for e-commerce platform reviews. In this Shopify versus Etsy comparison, I'm going to walk you through the key pros and cons of using these two popular e-commerce platforms to sell online. I'm going to mainly focus on the main version of Etsy, that is to say its online marketplace. But at the end of the video, I will cover its store building tool, Pattern, too. Let's kick things off with a look at the key difference between Shopify and Etsy. Shopify and Etsy are both huge players in the e-commerce world. But although both services can put your products in front of a large audience, they are very different in nature. Shopify is a tool that lets you create your own online store. But Etsy actually is an online store, and a very big one at that, with over 96 million active customers each year. When you sell on Shopify, it's like renting a space in which to set up your own shop. But using Etsy is more like selling your goods in a massive supermarket. With Shopify, you'll have more work to do to set things up the way you want and to find customers. However, you'll have total control over every aspect of your store. You can decide how your brand is presented, what your storefront looks like, how you promote your products, how you capture data, and what languages to present your content in. With Etsy, the customer base is already there, but so is all your competition. To return to the supermarket comparison, having a storefront on Etsy is like having some shelf space in a supermarket aisle. Lots of people will walk past it, but will they reach out for one of your products or choose a similar one from a different shelf? Now, both ways of selling have their pros and cons, and in the rest of this Shopify versus Etsy comparison, I'm going to spell the key ones out for you. I'll start with the main reasons to use Shopify over Etsy. 1. Shopify is better for building a standalone store. When you sell on Etsy, you don't really get a lot of say in how you present your business to shoppers. Although the platform does let you make a few basic customizations to your storefront, it doesn't let you create a truly distinct shopping experience. By contrast, Shopify gives you a lot of control over your brand and user experience. It gives you access to a wide range of templates, and these can be extensively edited to suit your branding requirements. If you're interested in checking these Shopify themes out, you'll find a link to them in the video description. 2. Shopify lets you sell anything. Etsy is quite restrictive when it comes to the products you can list in its marketplace. You can only sell items that were designed, made, or handpicked by a seller. In practice, this generally restricts you to selling your own handmade goods, vintage items, craft supplies, and digital products. By contrast, Shopify lets you sell pretty much anything, so long as it's legal to do so in your country of operation. 3. Shopify is much better for dropshipping. Dropshipping is a way of selling goods where you don't make, store, or fulfill any products. You take an order via your online store, send it to a supplier, and they deliver the goods to your customer. Although you can technically dropship with either Shopify or Etsy, Shopify is a much better platform for this type of online selling, and in many ways has been designed with it in mind. With Shopify, you can connect your store easily to a huge number of dropshipping platforms, and a lot of resources are provided to help you get going with this business model. By contrast, the options for dropshipping are fairly limited on Etsy. You can use print-on-demand apps like Printify or Printful in conjunction with Etsy, but that's about it. 4. Transaction fees are much lower with Shopify. Transaction fees are considerably lower with Shopify than Etsy, and you can avoid them entirely if you use Shopify's built-in payment processor, Shopify Payments. If you don't use Shopify Payments, Shopify will charge you a transaction fee on each sale of between 0.6% and 2%. This still compares very positively with the Etsy transaction fee, which at 6.5% is over double the Shopify rates. 5. Shopify is much better for point-of-sale applications. Point-of-sale features let you sell goods not just online but in physical locations too. For example, retail outlets, market stalls, and pop-up stores. Shopify is a market leader when it comes to point of sale, giving you the hardware and software to make selling in physical locations really easy, and all while keeping your offline and online sales data perfectly in sync. Although an integration with Square does technically allow you to use Etsy in some point of sale contexts, this is restricted to use in certain countries. Furthermore, Etsy doesn't give you access to the very wide range of selling hardware that Shopify provides. So, those are our key reasons to sell on Shopify rather than Etsy. But when can Etsy be the better choice? I'll come to that in just a moment. But before I do, I'd just like to say that if you're interested in using either platform, you'll find links to the latest trials and offers for both in the video description. These include a link to a special extended trial for Shopify that lets you use the platform for 3 months for just $1 per month. There's also a link in the video description to our new Store Builder Finder tool. This asks you a few questions about your selling requirements and, based on your answers, recommends a store builder that's right for you. Okay, let's move on to the reasons to use Etsy over Shopify. 1. Etsy gives you a ready-made customer base. If you're looking for a ready-made customer base, Etsy is the clear winner in a Shopify versus Etsy shootout. Because it has over 96 million active customers, having a storefront on Etsy technically puts your goods in front of a huge audience right away. That's not to say that you can expect a rush of customers as soon as you start selling on Etsy, but your products will be immediately available on a very popular online marketplace. But when you set up a Shopify store, you'll need to build your own customer base. Because of this, you'll need to put a lot of effort into search engine optimization, blogging, online advertising, and online PR in order for a Shopify store to start gaining visibility and customers. This can be an expensive, time-consuming process. 2. With Etsy, you don't have to worry about web design. When you sell on Etsy, you're simply listing your products on an existing online marketplace. But with Shopify, you're building an entirely new website. You'll have to become comfortable with web design tasks like customizing themes, writing search-friendly site copy, creating web pages, and managing domains. All this means that you'll encounter a bit of a learning curve from Shopify that isn't there on Etsy. 3. Etsy's audience is great for selling handmade, vintage, and craft items too. If you're selling handmade, vintage, or craft-related items, then Etsy can be a fantastic platform for you. It's a well-known and popular destination for people who want to buy exactly these sort of goods. These shoppers often have a ready-to-buy mentality. 4. Etsy gives you more SEO opportunities. A key thing to note about Etsy stores is that, unlike those created with Shopify, they give merchants 2 search engine optimization opportunities. This is because you can optimize your Etsy store not just for Google, but for Etsy's own search engine too. This means that technically an Etsy store gives you more search audiences than a Shopify one and a larger pool of potential customers. It also lets you de-risk your business by making you less reliant on just one source of search traffic. 5. There are no monthly fees to worry about with Etsy. When you sell on Etsy's marketplace, there's no monthly fees to worry about. You only get charged a fee by Etsy when you sell a product. By contrast, all Shopify plans involve monthly fees, and if you need to use one of its more sophisticated plans, these can be quite considerable. In short, there are less upfront costs and risks when you use Etsy. So, those are the main advantages that we think Etsy has over Shopify. I'll sum up with a quick verdict in just a moment. But before that, it's worth me quickly discussing Etsy's pattern product and how it compares to Shopify. So far in the Shopify versus Etsy comparison, I've looked at the differences between Shopify and the marketplace version of Etsy. However, it's important to note that Etsy has a separate product available, Pattern, that also lets you create a standalone online store. There are 2 ways to use this. First, you can use the main version of Etsy to power your Pattern store. This means adding a product catalog to Etsy, which automatically populates your Pattern website with products. Alternatively, you can just add items directly to a Pattern store and sell these separately. Importantly, and unlike when selling on the regular version of Etsy, these don't have to be handmade, vintage, or crafting items. Pattern costs $15 per month. That's $24 cheaper than the Shopify basic plan. But ultimately, it's not remotely as powerful as Shopify. Shopify gives you much more sophisticated tools for selling online, including advanced multilingual and multi-currency features, email marketing tools, and abandoned cart saving features. Okay, let's wrap things up with a quick verdict. To sum things up, I'd argue that the main advantage of using Shopify instead of Etsy is the high level of control you get over your brand and your business. It's a much better solution for building an online presence that you truly own. And the main advantage of using Etsy is the ready-made market it gives you, a market that will be particularly useful to you if you sell vintage, handmade, or craft items. As far as Etsy's pattern product goes, its main advantage over Shopify is that it's cheaper, but it's not remotely as powerful. And if building a standalone, scalable online store is your key aim, Shopify is a much better choice. But before you opt for one of these products over the other, there's something important to remember. You'll probably get the best results from both platforms if you use them together. There are a lot of apps available in the Shopify App Store that let you sell on both Shopify and Etsy at the same time. This gives you the best of both worlds and ultimately By having a presence on both Shopify and Etsy, you're giving yourself considerably more ways to grow your online business. And that's it. Our take on Shopify versus Etsy. Do check out the video description to access resources on how to get started with both platforms, along with a special extended trial of Shopify. To get all our latest e-commerce advice, please do subscribe to our channel and click the notifications bell. And finally, if you have any questions about Shopify versus Etsy, just leave them in the comments section. We read them all and we'll do our best to help.